Senator Marco Rubio is with us now. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm reading a lot of the reviews this morning. A lot of people think you had a very strong performance last night. You hit Donald Trump on a string of substantive issues, things like Obamacare, his hiring practices, Planned Parenthood, the vacancy at the Supreme Court. Was this the plan all along, to string together this kind of substantive attack on the 11th hour or at the 11th hour to leave this fresh in the minds of voters on Super Tuesday?
Well, look, the thing here is I'd prefer not to have a fight and an argument with other Republicans, but Donald, as he reminds everyone, has done very well in the early states, and we're on the verge of having someone take over the conservative movement and the Republican Party who's a con artist. He's out there telling people that he's fighting. He's going to, his target audience is working Americans who are really struggling over the last few years in this economy. But he has spent a career sticking it to working Americans.
And I understand. I'm just asking more specifically. You've said you don't want to criticize other Republicans. You said that over and over again. But was it the strategy to wait to the last minute so that it's fresh in the minds of voters on Tuesday?
No, it was that was when the debate is. And number two, as he reminds everybody over and over, he's doing well in the polls. So I admit I'm an underdog. I ask people to join my effort at marcorubio.com so we can put a stop to this lunacy. We are not going to turn over the conservative movement to a con artist who is telling people one thing but has spent 40 years sticking it to working Americans and now claims to be their champion.
One of the issues that came up last night was the taxes of Donald Trump. By the way, you and Senator Ted Cruz both say you'll release your returns in the coming days. Donald Trump said he can't because he's being audited. He revealed he'd been audited actually for the last several years. Is that a sufficient reason not to release at least part of his tax records?
Well, and first of all, we'll release ours, and not only will we release ours, but we do a financial disclosure with the Senate every year, so there's really no difference between those financial disclosures and the taxes. Number two, I don't think that's enough. I think Ted Cruz had a good point last night. We need to see those returns to see if the difference between the audited version and what he filed are evidence of wrongdoing. But I think the reason why Donald won't release his taxes is because he hasn't made nearly as much money as he claims he does. I mean, this is a guy that's taken Trump Airlines bankrupt, Trump Vodka, nobody wanted it, Trump Mortgage was a disaster, Trump University was a fraud. I mean, he's not as rich as he claims to be. Everybody in finance knows that, and his taxes would expose that. And so I think that's why he doesn't. He came up with this excuse now of an audit. It's absurd.
Well, let me ask you this. After the debate, he said the reason that he's audited all the time is because he's too strong of a Christian. Do you think that might be a factor?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is unreal. I mean, again, this guy is a con artist. I mean, he's always making things up, and no one holds him accountable for it. I mean, you have a guy who's being sued right now for fraud, for Trump University. And if I've had stories written about my driving record, that we had red light camera tickets. I had some guy go back and write a story about how when I was 18 years old, I got arrested, or cited, I should say, for drinking beer in a park after hours. And here's a guy who's being sued for fraud, for defrauding people. Here's a guy who had to pay a judgment for hiring Polish workers illegally to build Trump Towers. And he's being treated with kid gloves by many in the media in the hopes that he's the nominee. Some of them are biased. They'd love to see a liberal like Donald Trump take over the Republican Party. And others know he's easy to beat once he gets there.
Senator,
so he'll have to release his taxes, and Hillary Clinton will take him apart.
Senator, Tuesday is hugely important for you. You need a win. You need delegates. One of your campaign spokespersons said that you would win Florida. You are behind right now in that state by double digits. Will you guarantee that you'll win the state of Florida?
We're not behind by double digits in Florida. Those polls that they're doing, that you're citing, is wrong. Not only do we have our own numbers, but I know my state. We're going to win Florida, and we're going to do well on Super Tuesday, but it's up to the people watching this. That's why I'm on this broadcast. If you want to stop this man, Donald Trump, this con artist, from taking over the conservative movement, then I ask you to go on our website, marcorubio.com, sign up and help us, and we'll put an end to this lunacy. We cannot turn over the Reagan Revolution to someone who has spent a career of sticking it to working people and now claims to be their champion.
Senator Marco Rubio picking up this morning where he left off last night. Senator, thank you very much for your time.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.